Ordinarily, your service user cannot reach where the assistant will be provided or by himself or herself. But you need to provide a kind of a form of link for him or her to get to that to get to that destination. Advocacy aims at winning support from others, creating a supportive environment. In advocacy, you try to create supportive environment because when you do advocacy, you painting a picture of a conducive environment for that your client to explore for his or her problem to be solved or to be ameliorated in a way. But if that is not provided, it will be very difficult because when such an environment is created, it's like you are creating a very good template, a very good pedestal for him to sprint. So what are issues for advocacy? What are those things that you can do advocacy on? All this, you can read them up. Domestic violence against women, I mentioned female genital mutilation, FGM or cutting, sexual abuse, early marriage of girls, gender disparities in education, social welfare for the aged, and so on and so forth. Gender equity, environmental degradation, and so on and so forth. These are areas that concern social work. These are areas that you can do advocacy on. How do you build your advocacy strategy? How do you build your advocacy strategy? Sorry, I want to stop sharing so that I can give you I can quickly give you that additional material that I talked about. And sorry, and before I go to that next title, I want to quickly talk about that so that we can link them together. So for you to have, before you have your advocacy strategy, there's need for you to create an advocacy plan. Advocacy plan is like you want to build a house and you now have a building plan. What does building plan? What does it do? Building plan will guide your bricklayers or your contractor how to build that particular house. You already have the drawing on the paper. Following that plan, you can have your desired building or mansion that you want. But if the plan is faulty, definitely there's no way that building will meet your expectation. So in this case, you want to talk about creating an advocacy plan. Creating an advocacy plan helps to understand the situation. When you have the plan, you understand the situation. Stakeholders, you get to understand the stakeholders as well, and directive power, and how change happens. Because when you have that plan, it is this plan that will guide you, that will enable you to understand all this we are talking about. Then, when you have that plan, it will also help you to identify target audiences. Because when you don't have the plan, you may not be able to identify who your audience will be. It will help you identify the right messages. What are those messages you want to pass across? You want to pass across during your advocacy. Then the right messenger to deliver the message. Who is that messenger that will deliver the message? You know, at times when you pay advocacy visit, you are 2 or 3, or when you are on an advocacy program, it is not only one person. You may have group of people. When you have the group of people, who is going to deliver the message when you get to your to that person, to your audience? That is why plan will enable you identify the right messenger to deliver the message. It will also enable you to identify processes. What are those processes that you have to pass through? It will enable you to identify opportunities and entry points. Where do we begin and where do we end? It will enable you to recognize capacity and gaps. When you plan, when you want to do some things, you have the plan. This is in tandem with the saying that says, when you fail to plan, you are already when you fail to plan, you're already preparing to fail. And finally, it will enable you set goals and interim outcomes. You'll be able to know, where am I going? What do I want to achieve with this advocacy? Develop an action plan, monitor and evaluate results. When you have an advocacy plan, it will enable you to develop action plan. You know, it's not just ordinary plan, an action plan. Or some people may even say actionable plan. Those things you can act upon. You have the plan that you can identify who to do what and when, and what are they to do and why must they do it that way, and what do you want to achieve, and who is responsible, what is going to be the funding. That's your plan. And you also have the timeline with it. Then monitor and evaluate results. It will enable you to monitor and evaluate your results. When you monitor, it means that you are assessing your report. Don't forget, we talked about continuous assessment the other time. Assessing intervention you want to give to your service users. So when you have the plan, that will enable you to monitor and evaluate results. Why are you engaging in advocacy in the first place? What do you want to achieve? What is your overall goal? It is that plan that will enable you to monitor. Because in the plan, you will have set your objective. You will have said, if I do this, this will enable me to know that I've actually achieved my results. Then, when you are developing your strategy in advocacy, there are 9 questions for you to know, to plan your strategy. There are 9 questions which will guide your planning as a strategy for you to have a good advocacy. One, the first question: what do we want? What do we want? We want to pay an advocacy visit. What do we want when we pay the advocacy visit? That means, what do we want to achieve? Number 2, who can make it happen? Then you are talking about the messenger. Who can deliver the right message? Who can deliver the right message? Who can make it happen? Who are those that will be involved to ensure that this advocacy actually is implemented? And who are those that will make it happen? You need to answer that question as well. Then what do they need to hear? Those people, your audience, your target audience. What do you think they need to hear? What do they need to hear? Is it necessary for them to hear it from you? If it is not necessary, there's no need. There is no need of being advocacy or doing any advocacy. But you need to know their needs. Like I gave an example of female genital mutilation. It's a problem. You pay advocacy, you only state the problem when you pay advocacy, maybe advocacy visit to policymakers. You only state the problem. You didn't make any recommendation. You didn't tell them how best they can get out of that problem. So that is incomplete. You need to determine that one ab initio. What do they need to hear? Who do they need to hear it from? Are you the right person to deliver that message? That is why we talk about proficiency. We talk about being professional. That is why it is important that those competencies are right with you, because you must be seen as somebody that is professional enough to deliver that particular message, which means you need to know, to have adequate knowledge of what you are paying advocacy on. This will be demonstrated through your conduct, through your professional conduct. And in this case, adequate knowledge is very, very important. Knowledge of what you want to tell them, knowledge of that particular matter. If you don't have sufficient knowledge to educate, to add to what they already know, it means your advocacy may not serve that purpose for which you are paying such an advocacy, or you are doing that. You are doing that advocacy. How can we make sure they hear? What are the ways? What are the methods? What are the techniques that you can use to ensure that they hear what you want to say? Don't forget, advocacy is you believing in a cause and you want others to support that cause, to also believe as you also that as you believe. So what do we have? What are those resources at your disposal that will ensure that, that will facilitate that advocacy program? What are those resources? Do you have those resources? Do you need to get it? Do you need to augment what you have with some other resources outside your own profit? That is, what do we have? In this case, you will get to know what you don't have. So what you have will let you know what you don't have. You need to source what you need that you don't have. You need to source it from somewhere else. What do we need as an advocate or as advocates or group of advocates? What do you need? What do you also need? What do we need to ensure that this is successful? So these are questions that you can ask while trying to do advocacy. But you must also remember that advocacy is such a broad activity that is aimed at influencing public opinion. Of course, you should know that. You want to influence opinion, public opinion, policies, or social attitudes to bring about change, because in their behavior of your stakeholders, behavior of your audience, target audience, those you are visiting or those you are doing advocacy with, you want to change their behavior. You want to change their social attitude. You want to influence their opinions. You want to influence their attitudes so that instead of what they already had as a belief, you can change it a little. That is when your advocacy works. Now, let's go back to where we stopped the other time. But let's go back to where we stopped the other time before I move on this. So looking at your material again, looking at your material again, moving forward from that material, we are building your advocacy strategy, which I mentioned along creating an advocacy plan. So in this case, building your advocacy strategy means that you have to identify the issue. What is your need, concern, or problem to be addressed? Like I explained in the before now, is it a local, state, or federal issue that you want to consider? Is it a legislative issue or an administrative one? You need to determine that. Who can address the issue for you in the correct venue? Like I explained, build your advocacy strategy, develop your request. What do you want? Make it clear and succinct enough. Provide a clear rationale and support your request with evidence, statistics, and reports. Crafting your message is part of that. Okay, sorry, let me share the screen for those that may not have their material with them. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Sorry, let me just quickly share this. I will go back to.
But we don't have this material, sir.
Okay, the one I read before this.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
we only have the first.
Yes, it's an additional note. Sorry.
Okay.
It's an additional note.
Maybe you help us to send it so we can have it.
I can send it to you.
So that I have my material.
No wala. So we'll go on to where we stop. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, so we
Building
can have it.
Strategy now. I said you develop your requests, crafting your message, set goals. I think all these I explain along the line while I'm talking about a plan. Then communicating your request. Who is that person that will communicate that request? Determine the individuals or groups to whom you will that will make your request. Coordinate your request. Determine who else will you notify, who may be able to influence the outcome. So polish your message. In this area, this is one of the tactics, this is one of the strategies that you need to know. And this is polish your message. You are giving out a message. Such a message must be clear enough that people will not have different interpretation about it. Meaning that you should not use ambiguous language to pass your message. Use simple language, very clear, concise. Don't be too fabulous in delivering your message. That is why I give it to the journalist. You see, when the journalists, when they report an issue, they don't take more than 1 minute to report that particular issue, because they will just go straight to the point and you get it. You've been watching television, you've been watching news. Look at the way they cast news. When they do cast news, you see that they will not be repeating, they will not be reading long sentences. They will just make it concise. It is when they want to have additional report that they now call their reporter to give and on the spot assessment of what happened. They will give that report. And when they give such a report, it doesn't take more than 1, 2, 3 minutes. That is why even when they make announcement, when they make public announcement, public service announcement or advertisement on national television, it doesn't take more than 60 seconds or at most 90 seconds. They will only go straight to the message, so that, because by the time the message is too long, people will lose interest and people will not get the right message. So as a social worker, as an advocate, you need to polish your message when you are on advocacy program. Make it clear, make it concise. Don't just give long sentences. Go straight to the point, the key points. Just bring out the key point. You make your message compelling so that people will definitely believe in what you are saying. Let it be attractive. Look at the way the journalists will actually fly the headlines. The headlines on newspaper, they will do it in such a way that it will be catchy, that you want to read, you want to see what is actually happening. If the headlines are not so catchy, are not so attractive, people will not read. They will just throw the newspaper somewhere else, but they will put it in such a way that when you read, you want to anticipate what is happening. They may say, Boko Haram has taken over Niger State. You know, when they say that, you want to know. However, maybe Boko Haram has just affected a particular local government or a particular community in the local government. But when they put it that way, you want to read more. So that one will take you into the real message. Then you make it personal. Personal in the sense that it's not personal to you, personal to the particular problem you are addressing. To the particular problem you are addressing. If you are paying an advocacy fee, maybe to a legislative house, perhaps House of Assembly or National Assembly, you should be specific, and you should know, if you want to meet House Committee on Education, you make it known that this is personally addressed to House Committee on Education or House Committee on Health, House Committee on Social Welfare, and so on and so forth. So you make it personal. That who are the stakeholders in advocacy? Of course, beneficiaries, decision makers, partners, community heirs, group leaders, adversaries, and so on and so forth. You need to connect with stakeholders as well. So because by the time you identify the stakeholder of advocacy, you'll be able to know those that you can deal with. You need to connect with the stakeholders as well. Don't disconnect with them. What are the techniques and tactics of advocacy? Then we talk about sensitizing. When you sensitize people, you give people information, you try to educate them, they get to know about that. This is what you do in advocacy. You mobilize. How do you get them together? for you to address them, for you to let them believe in that cause. Then you dialogue. You know, dialogue is not monologue. That is why it is advocacy. You have to, you on a side, the other party on another side, then you come together to dialogue, to discuss, like sitting on a round table to discuss. You also negotiate. It's not bargaining the union leaders do. You try to negotiate, because why do you have to negotiate? If you have picked a schedule, or you are giving them a schedule that is not convenient for them, you say tomorrow, Thursday, we are having an advocacy program in your organization, and they have another program before your own that they are fixed tomorrow for. So what do? You need to negotiate and see how best can you now adjust, or you can just shift your own program so that you can accommodate. It's as a result of negotiation. If you don't do that negotiation, your advocacy may fail. Lobbying. Of course, you should know the difference between advocacy and lobbying. Advocacy is a broad activity, while lobbying is just a specific aspect of advocacy. It's a specific activity that you carry on advocacy with a view to influencing specific people like legislature, policy makers on a particular activity or a particular program. Whereas advocacy is just a broad activity that have lobbying within it. You can petition. No, petition is not to not be perceived in a negative way. When you go to the legislature or any house of assembly or the National Assembly, whatever letter you write there for them to correct some things or to correct some wrongs, they are called petitions. It's not that you are disparaging anybody, but they are called petitions, because that is what you want them to address. Because you have identified a gap, you want that gap to be bridged. Then pressuring, you try to mount pressure on them. You continue to do that thing all the time, and you try to let them understand the cause, and to let them believe in that cause. It is as a result of your repeated actions or your repeated effort on that particular problem. Then you also inform. Techniques and tactics, you can put them together. Look at your material, you see them there. What are the roadblocks to advocacy? What are the barriers to advocacy? Lack of comfort with the advocacy process, because at times it may not be, that process may not be all that comfortable. It may not be the way you have planned it. Not knowing where to start. I want to engage on advocacy program, or I want to embark on advocacy visit. Where do I start? It could be a barrier. Not knowing where to get help. Who are those people that can come to your aid? You want to assist the less privileged. There are so many service users that actually need your intervention. Perhaps the children in the ID camp. You want to support them in their education. Perhaps through giving them instructional materials or buying them textbooks and exercise books for them to use in schools. And these are children of less privileged people. Already they have been displaced from their homes, so they need support. But you, as a professional or as a social worker, you cannot provide this on your own. Your salary cannot even support one individual. Talk less of about 20, 30 rupees. You need to get help somewhere else. And for you to get that, you need to do advocacy before that help can be reached. So not knowing where to get help is a problem. Who can give me that support? Feeling that you are not expert enough to advocate. Feeling that you are not expert enough to advocate. When you have that inferiority complex, it could be a problem. That is why you need to develop your competencies. When you have right competencies, you feel fulfilled, and you also want to impact positively on your service user and on the society at large. But when your competencies are not all that, you cannot fight for your competency, there is a problem somewhere. That inferiority complex will set in. But when you have the right competency, you will be able to show your shoulder to Buga and to say that I'm a professional. Because you can call yourself a professional when you know your onions. When you can prove it, when people can see it in you, not in paper, not that I have this certificate or I have that. No one is interested in that. They want to see you in action. They want to see you in practice. And they want to see you impacting positively. Then people will say, okay, actually, this man, this woman is a real professional, is a competent professional that needs support, that we can actually give support to anytime, anyhow. So let me quickly add this to your advocacy, whatever. I think, what are the key features that we have in advocacy? Advocacy seeks to influence decision-making directly by shaping public discourse, can target the general public, institutions, or policymakers. Advocacy includes activities like public campaigns, media engagement and storytelling, community mobilization, research and policy briefs, awareness workshops and education, and so on and so forth. Then example, a social worker can run a campaign educating community about the dangers of female genital mutilation to promote community change and protect girls' rights. Whereas, like I said the other time, lobbying is a specific form of advocacy that involves direct interaction with policymakers or legislators to influence decision on a particular law, bill, or regulation, and so on and so forth. So, in summary, when I send this to you, you can read them. You can read the examples as well. I think I've explained this the other time. We have several examples, advocacy in social work, how best you can have it. So that can be of great importance to you when I send them to you. So, emotional resilience. We'll go to emotional resilience. What is emotional resilience? What is emotional resilience? Emotional resilience means being able to handle and recover from problems and challenges. Being able to handle and recover from problems and challenges. Number one, you handle that problem and you recover. After handling, how do you recover from such problems? And many of us don't have that emotional resilience. Many of us. Many people, when they are tested or when a kind of anger is triggered, how do you react? Even as a social worker. So you should not forget that as a social worker, you are helping another people, you are helping some people. And when you do this, it is important that you have this skill that we call emotional resilience. It's an important skill you need as a social worker. If one wants to be successful, you should not behave like others behave. There are certain things that you just have to adjust yourself. You just have to adapt. You just have to imbibe. It may not be part of you, but as a professional, you have to imbibe such. It is the mental reservoir of strength that people are able to call on in times of need to carry them through without falling apart. It is a reservoir, please note that. It is the mental reservoir of strength that people are able to call on in times of need to carry them through without falling apart. Resilient people are able to utilize their skills and strength to cope and recover from problems. And challenges. Such problems and challenges may include job loss, financial problems, illness, natural disaster, medical emergencies, divorce, or the death of a loved one. And you have these charts showing resilience. And what does resilience? It means that you have self-control, there's a social support, optimism. In this case, it's not pessimism. Ability to solve problems, emotional awareness, self-belief, sense of humor. What are the benefits of emotional resilience? So what are the practical benefits of emotional resilience that you can bring into your work as a social worker? By understanding these benefits, you can develop the necessary skills to thrive in the face of adversity and make a positive difference in the life of those we support. Of course, even in our places of work, we face challenges. You have internal challenges, and you have some other challenges that are external. Within the organization's challenges are there. Maybe your career progression is being affected one way or the other. When you are performing your duty, this will affect your morale one way or the other. No matter how proficient, no matter how competent you are, when your career progression is in jeopardy or is in danger, you will not be able to perform at optimal level. You will not be able to discharge your duty as expected. In essence, you will not be efficient because you are being threatened by a challenge of career progression because you want to progress too in your own area. Even as a social worker, you also need support from somewhere. So if that support is not forthcoming, it will affect your performance. So what are the benefits of emotional resilience? Better coping with stress. People will say, oh, today was too stressful in the office. Oh, today was too stressful in the meeting. Oh, the meeting was too stressful. So how do you cope when such stress sets in? Increase problem-solving skills. It is this when you have emotional resilience, you begin to have those skills that will enable you to solve many problems. But if you don't have it, you will create more problems instead of solving problems. You will create more problems. You being a helping professional, you are not creating problems for others to solve for you. It doesn't speak well of a professional. If a professional is also a source of problem, it calls for questions. Enhance adaptability. You'll be able to adapt very well to any situation you find yourself. It is those people that are not professional that will not be able to adapt in any situation. You need to adapt that ability that you possess that will give you that strength to withstand any situation, and you adjust accordingly. You adapt immediately. It's provided by emotional resilience that you possess. Improve well-being and mental health. Of course, when you are emotional resilient, your mental well-being, your mental health will be developed. It will be improved. You have an improved well-being as well. Don't forget the essence of social work, or the essence of development or sustainable development in this respect is to have a long-term well-being of an individual. That is why it is sustainable. That is why we call it sustainable development. You remember the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that we have since 2020. Those 17 goals, they are set for us to achieve. When we achieve them, it means that our long-term being or our long-term well-being will be guaranteed. If that long-term well-being is not guaranteed, it means there is a problem. So when you have emotional resilience, it means that you have an improved well-being. The positive influence on others. You can influence others better. In our own side, they say if you want to dash somebody, if you want to gift somebody a cloth, it means that you also have a better cloth. Because people will just look at you. If I know you give me an assistant, or you want to support me, I should see you as somebody that can provide that support. You cannot ask somebody that does not have the wherewithal or does not have any resources to support you. You cannot expect support from such an individual. You cannot expect a poor person to support somebody that is better off. So you look at him first. So you must be able to influence others positively, not just anyhow. That is why the effect, the impact or the effect of a peer group on youth. But in the same way, as a professional, as a social worker, directly or indirectly, you must influence others positively. If your impact is not positive as a professional, you need to look at yourself very, very well. You need to assess, you need to have a self-assessment. Assess yourself so that you will not be a source of problem. I think these are explained in the following sections. These are explained better there. You can read more. What makes some people more resilient than others? What makes them more resilient than others? Think of two people you know, one who is very resilient and one who is not. What are the differences? As we are going through this, also ask yourself, do you possess emotional resilience? Do you have it as an individual, as a social worker? Do you demonstrate this at home? Do you demonstrate it in your workplace? Do you even demonstrate it in the groups of people? In the group of people, do you demonstrate it while or outside your working place? When you mix with people, do you demonstrate emotional resilience? Many of us, when we drive, we throw into caution whoever we are, we don't mind. Many of us will drive, most Nigerians will want to drive against traffic. Mostly, they want to drive against traffic. Why are they doing that? Because that presence is outside their dictionary. Because orderliness is outside them. As a social worker, do you join them in doing that? If you're doing that, which means you don't have self-control. You cannot control your emotion. Your emotional resilience is not there. Do you dissipate your anger in your workplace anyhow? When certain things trigger, how do you respond? As a professional, you need to look back and say, okay, in conduct, am I conducting myself professionally? Ask yourself. When you ask yourself that question, you want to have self-restraint. So, what are the differences for someone that possesses emotional resilience and one that does not have it? Self-belief. Do you believe in yourself? Do you have self-awareness? Do you know who you are? Do you know your strengths? Do you know your weaknesses? Do you know those opportunities that surround you? Do you know those skills that you master very well? Do you know yourself of possessing some skills? You need to know yourself, who you are. You know, when we were youth, there are certain things that you want to do, and people call it youthful exuberance. At 40, you still believe that you are still youth. But by the time you get to 50, you get to 45, you get to 50, and you see people around you calling you daddy, calling you mommy. You look at yourself, am I really a mommy? Am I really a daddy? That is when you begin to look at yourself and say, who am I? Who am I? Am I aging? You should understand yourself, because having self-belief means having confidence in yourself and your abilities. What are those abilities that you know you have? This is self-belief. It is about believing that you can handle challenges and overcome them. You have that belief. For example, as a social worker, having self-belief means trusting in your skills and knowledge to make a positive impact in the community. It means believing that you have what it takes to face difficulties and find solutions. Then purposefulness. Being purposeful means having a clear sense of your goals and the reason behind your work. Are you just doing things randomly or routinely? There must be a purpose for doing certain things. You want to travel. Perhaps you want to move from Abuja to Lagos. Why are you embarking on that journey? You need to know why you are going on that journey. What do you want to achieve by embarking on that journey? If you don't have any purpose of embarking on that journey, you will not go. You will not go. So as for you to know that this person has emotional resilience, such a person must be purposeful. He must have goals. He must set some goals for himself or herself. And such a person must also understand what to do at a particular time and stay focused on that mission. As an example, you want to become a member of the notable institute profession. Now, you already possess certificates from universities. You have that. But for you to be more relevant, you need professional attachment. You need to belong. You need to be inducted in that profession so that you'll be licensed to practice, not licensed to kill you anyway. Because you have a purpose, you have a goal, you have an objective to achieve. That is why you have committed resources into it, including time, money, and energy into it, because you believe that when you have that, you will achieve your particular goal or your specific objective. When you have that, it means that you are purposeful. And if you see people that are focused on their mission, those people, they have that resilience we are talking about. Adaptability, ability to adjust and respond to changing circumstances. Like I explained the other time, a social worker that has emotional resilience must not be rigid. Must not be rigid. You remember, I think we mentioned flexibility sometimes when we started. You must be flexible, your approach, you must be flexible in whatever you do. You don't maintain that particular position that you cannot change your position. No, you should not act like zombie. You adjust to situation as situation dictates. Of course, that is what we call being really a professional. As situation dictates, you follow suit. It's not that no, I cannot change. Okay, they say this time you are fixed for your program is for another program. Can you just shift that your program by 1 hour, shift it forward by 1 hour or backward by 1 hour? And you say, no, I cannot change it. Oh, no, it's sacrosanct. I cannot change it. When you do that, you are creating problem for some other people. People will not see good in whatever you do. You are not impacting positively on other people. So in the context of your role as a field officer, adaptability is crucial. You need to be able to adapt to the unique challenges and situations you encounter in the field. If a plan doesn't work as expected, being adaptable allows you to quickly adjust and find alternative solutions. So many examples. You can think about them. Social support. In social support, you look at people surrounding you. Look at people that surround you. Look at people that surround you who can provide emotional, practical, and informational assistance. You know, in social work, we don't work in silo. You look at people that can give you support. You cannot do it alone. You alone cannot do it. You need the support of others. So you need support from here and there. You need to identify those ones. It is those that actually rely on support of others that excel in whatever they do. So in this, look at those people, network of supportive individuals who can offer guidance and encouragement. In your role as field officer, social support can come from your colleagues, supervisors, and the community you serve. Don't underrate anyone. Don't overlook their potentials. When you have strong social support, it can help you cope with challenges and provide a sense of belonging and connection. Strategy to develop emotional resilience. I think we have talked about building self-awareness. Self-awareness, for you to know, to be aware of yourself, you need to build that. You need to seek support, like we have just mentioned, social support. You need to develop helping coping mechanism, not defense mechanism in this respect. Coping mechanisms. How best can you cope? with situations, with challenges, with problems that we have? How do you cope with situations at hand, with circumstances that are just coming? How do you cope with them? That is developing healthy coping mechanism. Engage in activities that promote relaxation and stress reduction. Practice positive thinking. Of course, people don't see good things in Nigeria, but I don't belong to that class of people, that school of thought at all. Because I see so many things good in Nigeria. People who want to run adverts or advertisement or advertorial, even editorials on the bad aspect, on those things that paint Nigeria in a bad image. No, there are thousands of good things in Nigeria that we can just talk about, that we can write about, that we can promote. All this, we should look at it. Look at Nigeria from your positive lens. Don't look at Nigeria from your negative this thing. Look at Nigeria from that positive angle and promote the positivity in Nigeria. Don't promote negativity like the journalists will always do. It is when the Boko Haram strikes, then it now becomes their headlines. And that particular boy in secondary school or primary school that that actually made an invention or that created a kind of innovation will not be celebrated. That small boy in that village in Portisco will not be promoted in any way, even if they will not even mention him in the news. That guy in Anambra, in one of the villages in Anambra, or in one of the communities in Anambra, that work wonders, that develop some things, innovative works, it will not be promoted. But it's only that it is insecurity is killing Nigeria. It's because of insecurity they have killed 230 in Enugu. They have killed 280 in Adamawa, and so on and so forth. This will form our headlines. Social workers will not do that too. You should practice positive thinking. Setting realistic goals. You know, in setting goals, of course, let's come home. Let's be specific. In setting our objectives, there's this we call SMART. I know you still remember SMART principle in setting objective. That the objective must be specific, must be measurable, must be achievable, must be realistic and time-bound. That is SMART. You will see achievable comes before realistic. There are people mostly, they set objectives that are achievable, but they are not realistic objectives. They are just achievable. It's possible for you to build your castle in the air. That's why they say you are only building castle in the air, because there's no way your castle can be suspended in the air. But it's possible. It's possible for you to have it. But it's possible for you to achieve that. But is it realistic? If you are a social worker, of course, tomorrow you can be president of Nigeria. But if you now say, come 2027, you are going to be the governor of the state, and you have not participated in any political campaign, you are not participated in any political activities, you are not a member of any political party, and you have not even been picked or selected or elected as the gubernatorial candidate of your party, talk less of participating in the election, and you say tomorrow you are going to be the governor of Imo State. Of course, you can be governor of Imo State, but is it realistic? Can you realize it within that time? So you need to set realistic goals. So these are strategies that you need to put in mind for you to have emotional resilience. Embracing flexibility. I think I explained it the other time. Don't be too rigid. Practicing self-care. Don't forget yourself while you are trying to help people. Don't forget yourself. You see, some doctors at times they collapse. They are the one treating people for one illness or the other. But some of these doctors are even being inflicted by all these diseases sometimes, or they are even being attacked or affected by such illness. And they also die. Some will take their own care with levity hand. So as a caregiver, you should also take care of yourself. Find time to relax. You allocate time for your own hobbies. Allocate time that you want to spend with your loved one. Don't say you must do this, you must do this. Take care of your physical and mental well-being. Get enough rest. Eat nutritious meals. Don't just be accumulating weight. Don't just be accumulating money that you want money. You are flying from Abuja to Kano, from Kano to Calabar, from Calabar to and so on and so forth. You are moving all around like that in the guise of, or in the spirit of, I want to get rich. In the spirit of, I want to have enough. And enough is never enough. I've not seen that person that will say, where I am now, I'm okay. There's no need for me to do anything again. No, you still want to have more now. You still want to, Dangote will never sleep. He will not want his status to come down. So we want a way of improving his status, moving from that particular ladder to another rung of ladder. So ensuring quality service delivery in social work. How do we have quality service delivery in social work? Continual professional development, like we are doing now, is like professional development. Already some of these things, you maybe in passing, you must have learned one or two things in school, in theory, but how do you make use of this in practice? So this continual professional development is what you do always. Most professions, they do this. Most professional bodies, they do this every year. They call it annual, some people will call it compulsory, mandatory annual professional development, and so on and so forth. So it's the same we are doing here now too. And we also have a number of programs that will further equip us as professionals, as event of food, or as we have new things through conferences, workshops, seminars, and so on. This improve our professional development. Supervision and consultation. Social workers will seek supervision and consultation from experienced and knowledgeable professionals. Those that you know they are your seniors, those that you know they have experience more than you have, you consult them, you get supervision from them so that they can give you right guidance. Use evidence-based practice. Remember in our competencies, one of the core competencies is using evidence-based practice. That is, those practice that because you are practicing, you are not just reading from books, you are not doing theory. Evidence-based practice is those that are certain things that have been used and they have been very, very impactful. You can make use of them. Social workers will incorporate evidence-based practice into their interventions. Drug that has been tested, that is what we mean. Practice that has been very, very effective and efficient, practice that has been impactful. You can make use of it, borrow it, and use it. This involves using interventions that have been scientifically proven to be effective through research analysis, have been useful. We take immunization today because those immunizations have been seen to be very, very helpful in what? In actually preventing some diseases or some illnesses that will affect young babies between age 0 and 5. And they are taking this immunization because those have been tested, they have been proven to be very, very effective. Cultural competence. Remember, please just refer to our competency the other time, when you need to respect the culture of other people. That is when you can have good service delivery. When you want to give some people, you want to intervene in a particular community and you don't respect their culture, there's no way you can be successful. There's no way you can be successful. So good service delivery, quality service delivery will not take place Whatever service you want to deliver there will not be sold, will not be quality, and it will not be taken. Client center approach, as social worker, whatever we do is our service user centered. It's our client that you give consideration above your own, above others, because whatever approach you are using must be centered on that your service user. You must prioritize their needs, goals, and preferences. Monitoring and evaluation, of course, whatever we do, you need to assess, you need to monitor, and you need to evaluate. That will enable you to know when you get to your destination. That will enable you whether you have to go far again, or whether your journey is short, whether the path you are treading is a good path or you are derailed. It is monitoring and evaluation that will do this. That is why you see in most organizations they have MIE. In most projects, in most interventions, there is an MIA aspect of any project or any intervention. This will enable them to monitor. This will enable them to evaluate whether they are achieving, whether they are on track or they are not on track. It's very important. Ethical practice. Remember the ethics of your profession. When you remember them and you are going, you are conducting yourself according to the ethics of that profession, it means that you are going to deliver good service to your service users. So by implementing these strategies, social worker can enhance the quality of their service delivery, improve client outcomes, and contribute to positive social change. And this will be the end of this particular paper. And but there is a quote I want to add so that before I just say bye bye. But okay. Sorry, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, it is this. I just want to add this just to cap it up. Advocacy creates the social and cultural environment for change, while lobbying translates that momentum into concrete policy and legislative outcomes. Or more critically, you can say without advocacy, lobbying lacks public legitimacy. Without lobbying, advocacy risks remaining symbolic. It risks remaining symbolic. So when you talk about advocacy, we talk about awareness and norm change, policy engagement as bridging stage, lobbying, you talk about legislation, you are referring to legislative and budget actions. This is particularly relevant in this area. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is at this point that I think we can actually call it a day at this point. But if you have questions, there is an opportunity for you to do it. Sorry, I want to.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please go ahead.
So I just want to plead if you can give us this one you just shared this evening, this one you taught us, so that we can study it on our own.
Okay, so that I can join it with what you have already.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is that Loretta? Yes. Okay. No wala. No wala.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry. No wala. I will arrange it properly to make it understandable, and you can just add it, because I'm not interested. Okay. It's not that I'm not interested in your exams, in your passing exam, but what actually pleases me or gladdens my heart is for you to practice this while you are on fit. If you want to talk about exam, you have written so many exams while you are in school, but now you want to show to the world that you are really a professional. And for you to show that, you need to demonstrate some skills outside. so that they will just be saying, okay, really, you are a professional. You have reached that stage, because by the time you become inducted, by the time you become a member and you are given license, it means that you can practice and you can call yourself a professional social worker. So what will interest me is to see you practice all this, see you exhibiting all these qualities, and you can influence positively others in the society, so that our tomorrow will be better than today, so that tomorrow we'll have a better Nigeria, or a better society, or a better community, or a better family. That is the ultimate. It is when we have a good number of social workers that know their onions, that can bring positive change into the society. That is when Nigeria, you can say Nigeria can really prove to be the giant of Africa. And with you, with me, or from you, or from me, we can begin that change, and we can bring that change, and Nigeria will be better for all of us. So any other question or comment, contributions, so that we can end the class? And that's the end of the whole course. So except anybody has question or whatever, you are feel free to send to me, perhaps through Loretta, because it's only Loretta that I can recognize in the class. Sorry, all of us, I recognize you. I recognize others, but I can just send whatever. If you have any question, you can send, you can ask, you are free to ask that. And don't forget your exams. You must have been taught during your orientation that your exam will come through. I think it's going to be computer based, and it's going to be objective. You know, objective questions are sometimes difficult to answer. They are sometimes difficult to answer because you will not be able to express yourself. Please. So it means that you have to read everything. It means that you have to read everything. You don't jump. You read everything. Every day you want to pass from the objective questions, so you read everything. And I want to assure you there's not going to be any problem. We are adults, but at the same time, understand what we've been able to discuss. Understand a little, so that when you go into the field, you can demonstrate, and you will give the institute a very good name, because we want you to be good ambassadors of the institute wherever you are. So, any other question? Any other question, contribution?
Good evening,
yes.
Sir.
Good evening, Yusuf. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, we so much enjoy your class. Thank you very much. May Almighty God continue to enrich you with more wisdom and knowledge, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll be glad if you can please recap on the advocacy, because I'm getting confused in the area of, can someone be working with government and still doing the advocacy against the government? Is that possible, sir?
No. When you do advocacy, you can't do advocacy against the government. Don't forget that whatever you do, you must have your right information. You must have the right statistics. You must get correct information before you give it out, before you do it.
For instance, are you with me, sir?
Yes, please, yes.
I discovered that in Nigeria, I think there are some, should I call it organization or ministry, for instance, all these PHCN.
Okay.
CN.
You mean the electricity distribution?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They are now electricity distribution company. No longer PHCN.
Okay. Okay, sir. My what is it called? The area of advocacy I want to try to look into is that,
so that when you do advocacy, you not be talking against government. Is that what you mean?
Yes. That instance now,
Yes,
these
I
people,
understand. Yes,
huh?
because I understand where you are going. That if you are part of them, and you still want to talk, you want to point out the problems that is inherent in the society where you are paying
Exactly, sir.
advocacy.
Yes, sir.
Because hello, as a social worker, you must be honest. You must be honest. If by your consent you know you cannot participate in that, it's not important that you join the advocacy group. You allow others to do that if you know it will definitely affect where you work, or it will affect your own personality in that organization. What you do is you allow others to do it, even though you are part of them, but let others do the advocacy. Do you understand? You allow
Yes, sir.
others to do it. It may not even be advocacy. If you are doing intervention and you get to a particular point, perhaps you go to a community, and in that community, you see that you have interest. You have interest in some issues in that particular community. It may happen. What you do, you excuse yourself. You excuse yourself, you allow those that will not have any interest. Or if there are people that have come to you from a particular family, and eventually you discover that the case, the issue you want to handle, you may be biased about it, maybe because you are related, maybe because somehow you may not be able to speak up or to do the right thing. What you do, you excuse yourself from those people that will handle it, and you allow others to handle that particular issue professionally. And you must put it in mind that whatever you do, you must be honest, because by the time, as a social worker, you don't join bandwagon. You don't just do things in the way people do it, in the pretext that is common. That is what everybody does now. I wouldn't know whether I've told you in this class that common sense is not good sense. So I wouldn't know whether I've had the opportunity of saying it. Do you believe common sense is not good sense? Do you people believe that common sense is not always the good sense?
Now you said it, sir. It's not always.
It's not always the good sense.
It's not always good. Yes, sir. No.
Yes, it's not always the good sense. When you are government today and you don't rub palms, you don't do this, it's common.
Yes.
Is it good? Is it good? When you meet the security people on the road, you don't have already. You are cheating government. You don't have your vehicle. You don't have your vehicle particular with you. And when you get to the police, you give them something, and they say, "Oh, God, you are welcome, sir, madam." By the time you give them something, at times when commercial vehicle park and they are arguing with the security, the passenger that will be complaining, give them what they want to take. Now let's go. Why must
it's true.
Is it not common? They say that what they do now, and that is what most security people. Apology to those of you that may belong to this particular group of people. But is it good? Is it good for our society? It's not good, but it's common. Many people hire machinery to write exam for their children, and they pass. They do JAMB, they pass. They do WAEC, they pass. And they say, you want to see them, make them sit there. Even some people write postgraduate. Some people don't even go for lecture. They don't even go to university, but they award them certificates. They award them PhD. They award them masters. Whereas they don't even touch. They have never seen the four words. Is it not common? So, my brother, what I'm trying to say in essence is that if you see any wrong, don't forget. Hello.
Against all those atrocities.
Hello. Don't forget that
yes,
we also talk about speaking against policies that are how do I put it now? Those policies that are not, they are not. that are so discriminatory, policies that are not good for our society, that as social worker you should work. I mean, it's not that you work against them, you try to join and to change that policy. But if we continue that way, it means society will not be better. We will not be talking about our long time well-being. So thank you. Erere, sorry, you've been raising your hand. Sorry.
Yes,
Erere, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for that. Yes. It's on emotional resilience. As a social worker, sometimes you are really overwhelmed, and sometimes your clients are overwhelmed. How do you try to have enough energy for both? Because I work mostly with
Yes,
have enough energy for
yes, I
both of them.
understand.
And at what point should you say, man, I don't have any energy for anybody right now. I
Okay.
need to rest. Yeah.
You need social support. Do you get me? Hello? Social
Yes, sir.
support. Social
Yes.
support. Social support.
Okay. Okay.
Use that social support technique, because you cannot do it alone. You need others to support you. Today, if you are overwhelmed, tomorrow you are overwhelmed. So what happens to that? So that the two of you will not become source of problems for the society again. So that you will not allow other social workers to come to issue. So what is important is that just look for people around that can support you. You are overwhelmed because you are doing it alone, all alone. It's not your fault anyway. It might be the fault of the establishment. It might be the fault of the government. It might be the fault of your organization as well, because they will only want to maximize a profit. They may not want to employ more hands. Of course, if you are in government, there's no way you can convince them to employ more hands when they are not ready to do that. And of course, in social work table, desk, social work desks are inadequately staffed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you are welcome. Yes, any other question, contribution? Well, our class today, we are 17. I want to see this. It's like this class, we have a highest number of participants tonight. Is it because of the timing? Many people have time to attend. So if you do not have any question, contribution, no contribution, I think this will be a convenient point to draw the curtain. On 60, is it 604, right? On 604.
602.
Is it 602 or 604? Check you, 604.
606.
Which one do you take now? It's 604. Somebody says 602. I said 604. You also said 606. I hope we will not be going to 606. Just know the course code, so that you will not be writing 604 when you are writing your exam is going to be computer based, and it's going to be computer based. Yes. You said what?
So knowledge. It's showing C-ISOWN, knowledge, understanding, and skill in social work.
Okay. But this one is 604 anyway. This is 604.
Okay.
So read every part of the course material, and this other one I will send to you. I will find two and send to you, so that you can have additional thing on this on advocacy, most importantly on advocacy. But trying to develop emotional resilience, like I said, is very important. Personally, it will be useful to you. You don't get angry as others get angry. Don't get angry as others get angry. And when you do that in your place of work, other people get angry and you also get angry. No, which means you are not a good social worker. you must be able to control your emotions. That is important. Control your emotions, have self-restraint. No matter the provocation. Control your anger, control everything in you. Don't let emotion drive you. You drive emotions, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you most sincerely for your time, for all you have put into this course. So until we meet, because I'll be happy to meet you at during induction ceremony towards the end of the year to admit you into this noble profession by the grace of God. And we have our conference in November. And Delta State, anybody from Delta State is going to host the conference. So I'll be happy, I'll be glad to see all of you there by the grace of God. So until then, remain blessed and continue to support right cause to better our country and to better the profession. So we want to see you as those that will even bring more greatness to the institute. So thank you so much. Don't forget to read the Institute Act so that it becomes your Bible and Quran. So I want to have a rest